It is American Heart Month, and we want to share a story of a local transplant recipient. ABC 7 News reporter Gloria Rodriguez has more for us this morning. Hi, Gloria.
Hi, Jovina. This morning we are highlighting Petaluma resident Denise Redeker. She had a heart transplant 4 years ago and is now helping other transplant recipients. Denise joins us live this morning. Good morning to you, Denise.
Hey, how are you? Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for being on here with us this morning. So wanted to hear a little bit about your struggle with heart disease.
Well, I was diagnosed with postpartum cardiomyopathy when I was 29 years old. I didn't pay much attention to it at the time. I had a family to raise, but it became clear in over the years that transplant was in my future. And it wasn't until December of 2017 that a doctor sat me down and told me that without a transplant that I would probably have about a year left to live. I received the gift of life with a heart transplant on January 31st of 2018.
Wow. And I know that you started the nonprofit Heartfelt Help Foundation to help heart transplant recipients with their expenses. Why did you feel that that was so important to do and so needed?
When I was going through my own adventure with transplant, we realized that there were a lot of expenses that insurance doesn't cover, and the biggest one of those is post-transplant housing. You're required as a transplant patient to relocate to within 20 or 30 minutes of your transplant hospital for a period of time from about 6 weeks to 3 months, depending on how complex your particular case is. That cost is at best minimally covered by insurance and at worst not covered at all. And that means moving to either San Francisco or Silicon Valley. And as we all know, neither of those places are particularly inexpensive to move to. And so, and a lot of people don't know that your transplant can actually be delayed if you don't have sufficient funds. There's so much that goes into whether or not you make the list for a transplant. You have to be sick enough to need one, healthy enough to survive it. You have to pass a psychosocial evaluation, and you have to pass a financial evaluation. None of those things alone will deny you a transplant, but they could delay it. And with transplants, delays can be fatal. So we step in because something as solvable as money should never, ever, ever delay someone's transplant. So we step in and we help pay for whatever insurance does not cover.
That's wonderful. I know you've helped so many people through this foundation, and it is American Heart Month. This is a topic that's really close to my heart, Denise. My mother actually passed away at the age of 54 due to a massive heart attack. So this is very, very important. And I wanted to ask you, what do you want people to know about heart disease?
Well, heart disease is catchable. It can be curable. It doesn't have to end in a transplant for you, but pay attention to the signs, pay attention to the symptoms. Heart disease is still the #1 killer of women in this country. And I think we as women don't pay enough attention. We're so busy taking care of everybody else in our world that we don't pay enough attention to our own bodies, and we don't get regular physicals. We don't get heart screenings. And that's something I would encourage everyone to go out and do.
Very good advice there. And I know, Denise, that you're having a fundraiser next month, so we want to put the information up there. It's Sunday, March 20th at the Block, Petaluma, and it goes on from 4 to 7 p.m. You can get more information at heartfelthealthfoundation.com. It's going to be a big party, so thank you so much for joining us today, Denise. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I just want to briefly, just quickly say thank you. Without our financial partners, one example is CareDx, that we wouldn't be able to do what we're able to do. So it's because of the donors, both the individual and corporate ones, that we are able to make housing happen for these amazing patients.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for all your work. And thank you again, Denise, for joining us today. Kumasi, we're going to send it over to you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Gloria.